Hey, good afternoon, folks, and welcome to the Riff Circle where we talk all things music. I'm Miles, and I got Mike here, and we got a fun one today. It's going to be our third episode for our collection corner, where we're going to be taking a look at our collections and some of our more rare ones. Now,
Yep.
we've done previously median value, like high median value off Discogs. These ones don't necessarily have high median value. Some of them do. But these
hmm
are more, records in our collection where even if you had 500 bucks, $1,000 bucks, even if you had the money to go and get these, they would be physically difficult to obtain, even
Just
using the
can't get them.
power of the internet. So you're basically never going to find one of these in the wild at your record store. You'd be hard pressed to find one of these, even using the internet. You'd have a hard
Yeah.
time finding these. Some of these we've found none for sale across eBay, Amazon, Marketplace, Discogs, none. Some there's one or two. So with that said, before we jump into it, we're a new channel and we're trying to build a community about learning about new music. I promise you're going to learn some new bands today. That's always our goal, is for you to walk away with some homework to go and listen to some cool new bands. And we want to learn from you folks. So we're trying to build this community. If that's something you want to be a part of, subscribe to the channel. And at the end of the video, if you like it, drop us a like. It costs you nothing and it really helps us out because we're brand new.
Yeah.
With that, Mike, I'm going to start with an honorable mention. I always do this. The honorable
Honorable
mention.
mention.
This one's worth it. Honorable mention for rare records. Okay. Amorphous. Okay. This one is Forging the Land of Thousand Lakes. It's a live album. The
Hmm.
reason why I have this as an honorable mention is because this was one of the hardest albums for me to track down. So, this is, for those of you who don't know, new to the channel, this is one of my favorite bands of all time. It took me over a year to get this. I could not find it anywhere, not on the internet, nowhere. And the story behind it is very interesting. There was one guy in Greece. You remember this? There was Mike. You remember this guy?
Yes.
There was one guy in Greece who had it
Yes, I
for
do.
sale, and I tried communicating with him to see if he'd do international shipping. He said sure. We agreed on a price, and then all of a sudden he took his store down. I said, hey, you plan on selling this? I can't buy it anymore through, Discogs. Do you want to do it offline? What do you want to do? He said, I've run into too many issues selling. I don't want to sell anymore. Okay. I waited 6 months. He put stuff back up, but not this one. I thought, oh, he must have sold it. So I reached out to him and said, hey, I saw you put some stuff up for sale. Didn't see this on there. What's the deal? He's like, I might sell some things, but I'm still unsure. Then he removes everything out of his store and goes back into hiding. I check again 6 months later. He resurfaces, has this for sale. I just bought it. I just gave him his asking. And I was like, you know what? If it shows up, it shows up. Like 2 months go by. I didn't bother this guy. I'm like, if he sends it, he sends it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Boom, shows up. Over a year.
What
It
a
was the
story.
only one around. I could not find it anywhere. Now, the reason it's an honorable mention and not number one on my list is because now I went to go look it up for the show here, and there's like six available. So it's a broader
Of
topic that
course.
we're not going to touch today. And the topic is, are more people selling right now? It did not get a repress. Does that mean, is it a sign of economic times? Is that a sign of people's collections are
Could
getting too
be.
big after this big surge? A story for another day. But Forging Land of a Thousand Lakes, and I got to show off how it opens. So it opens up like this, and then
Okay,
comes
yeah.
open like this. It's got this big sound stage on it, which is very cool.
Wow.
Yeah, very
That is
cool. But yeah, one of the more rare ones, just because it's hard to find. Again, you can buy this now, $80. It's not free, but not impossible to find. So that's the honorable mention, only because it took me a year. Mike, what do you got? What's your number five here?
number five, kind of a weird one. You might not know of this album, but we got Matt Skiba and Kevin Seconds.
Matt. Okay, interesting. Matt
So,
Skiba.
uh, so yeah, Matt Skiba of Alkaline Trio, Kevin Seconds of 7 Seconds. This is a kind of solo EP venture. One side's Kevin, one side's Matt. This version is a kind of a marble white gray kind of color. Um, Honestly, myself, I didn't know this existed until I was ordering some records and found it and picked it up to later find out this was a 2002 release, and there were a couple different color pressings, but you just couldn't get it. It's just not something that you can find. So not necessarily super expensive, but a lot of people probably don't even know it exists. It just there wasn't many pressed, and hard to track down. So Kevin Seconds and Matt Skiba there, kind of solo EPs.
Very solid. Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, my number 5 pick here. I got a group. I got 2 of them here because they go together.
Okay.
They go together.
Okay.
Again, this is Amorphous. I promise this is the last Amorphous I have, but these 2 here, they're rare. I've never seen these before. They're from
Okay.
China, Chinese pressings.
Interesting.
And the quality does not reflect the stereotypical made in China, what you would think. They're actually pressed very nicely. These are not Japanese. So, I know a lot of people like to hunt down Japanese pressings. These are Chinese pressings, extremely
Interesting.
limited. And I had never seen that before. So these are 2 albums, 2 Amorphous albums. And this is during, Amorphous has 3 eras. This is during their kind of late 90s, early 2000s era. And they just did a repressing of some of these, I think 2 years ago, but
Hmm.
I got these maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And at the time, these were like this album in general was very hard to find. This
Okay.
one, not so much, but this one was extremely hard to find. So
Yeah.
when I found them in Chinese pressings, I thought that's pretty sick.
Yeah. It's different.
Extremely rare and a very cool variant
Oh, that
on
color is
these.
nice. Wow.
And so I looked it up before the show, and there's only one available of each of these on the whole
Oh,
internet that I could find. Only one. And I think once you have folks like me who love this band, I wouldn't trade these for the world. I think those are going to go out, and you'd be hard pressed to see these again for a long time.
yeah.
But there is one each for sale right now in Discogs. None on eBay, none on Amazon, none anywhere else I could find. Yeah, two Amorphous albums. One of them my favorites, Tanella. Tanella and Am Universum are the albums. Yeah, 2 Chinese pressings, very cool. I think limited to 200 is the run on
200
those.
each.
Yeah, 200 each. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah. So, and
okay.
again, like you, I didn't even know it existed. I was trying to find that one, the Tanilla album, and I just happened to see it on Discogs. I was like, Chinese pressing, that's very bizarre. And my
I don't think I
mind
own
immediately
anything.
went to thinking it was going to be something not legitimate, and it was. I thought very cool, and they sound amazing.
Yeah.
They sound excellent. So
Wow. I don't
yeah,
think I
my
own
number
anything in my
5.
collection that's a Chinese pressing. I don't think I own a single Chinese
That's the
pressing.
only one I have.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. I'd be curious as to where they were actually pressed. Are they released in China or are they actually pressed in China? I'd be curious as to what pressing plant they used.
That's a
That's for
good
another
call.
time.
I'm going to look that up
But I'd
as
definitely
you
be
bring up
interested
your
in it.
next one here. We'll circle back to that. I'll get an answer.
Yeah. So my next one, I think we might have talked about this on the channel before, but it's Catch 22 KCB Nights.
Oh, one of my favorites. One of my favorite
This
ska albums of all time.
Yeah, yeah, just a black pressing here. I don't know what year this is. I don't think this is a 98 pressing. It's probably one of the more recent early 2000s pressings of it. But interestingly about this one, there are currently 17 different variants of this album.
That's
And
insane. I did not know that.
as of recording this video today, there are not one version available for sale. So 17 different pressings from 98 to today, and you could not purchase it anywhere as of right now. That doesn't mean tomorrow there won't be
Yep.
15 listed. But interesting story with that band and that album and kind of changing rights and who owns the music and things like that. So some stuff that kind of has went on with that. But I am very happy to own that one in the collection because it is a hard one to come by. I had a chance to pick it up one day randomly. I just found it flipping through a record store, a local record store, and there it was sitting there, and I grabbed it real quick. But yeah, so that's a rare one. It was not expensive. If it comes available, I don't know if it would be expensive. You just can't get it. It's just not around.
Yeah. So when I first started collecting back in 2016, that was one of them I wanted. I was like kind of going through all of them, and I remember seeing back then how expensive it was, and I remember thinking like, oh, I'm never going to spend that on a record. Now, since then I have,
Yeah.
but even back then they were very hard to find. And I
Yeah.
wonder if it has to do with that falling out the band had, where the
I
guy who
think the
wrote that
Streetlight
song,
Manifesto.
yeah, Streetlight
Yeah.
Manifesto, went and redid that album. I'm wondering if there's an issue with a legal issue there that's preventing, but I don't know. There's so many variants, maybe not.
Yeah. I don't think
Hard.
there's been one since like 2013, 2015 time frame. So
It's been a while.
it's been some time since there's been one.
Yeah,
But
that makes sense.
I don't know, maybe 2028, as I think the album came out in 98, maybe 2028 we'll see an anniversary and they'll get some stuff figured out there. Who
Yeah,
knows?
interesting. Quick update on the Amorphous. Okay, so it is pressed in China. There's a
Okay.
company in China that I'm on their website right now. So they're called Northeast Steel Industry, which is a super
Hmm.
American name.
Yeah.
But they're a Chinese metal music label. So they got the rights to press this from Relapse,
Okay.
and they did. And the run is 100, not 200, 100 each on those.
Wow.
And I'm on their website right now, and it's pretty cool. I'll put the link in the description for those of you who like metal and Chinese pressings. You will have to pay an exchange rate and a shipping fee, I'm sure that will hurt, but they got some cool ones on here. So I'll put it down there for you folks to check it out. But very neat,
Wow. I'm
very
excited to see
interesting.
that.
So yeah, pressed in China. Who knew?
Wow. Cool. Cool stuff.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, Catch 22, awesome. Next album from me, my number 4. This is a desert island album for me.
Hmm.
One of my
Okay.
favorite albums of all time. Okay, of all time. And I didn't even know it was this rare. I got it for my birthday. Counting Crows, August and Everything After, live at the Town Hall. I could
Okay.
only find one of these. I could only find one available on Discogs. Counting Crows stuff is notoriously hard to come by.
Yeah. I've seen
They
that.
their fan base, me included, like buying vinyl. I remember getting August and Everything After. It was always sold out. It wasn't anything crazy rare. I mean, you could always find it online, but in shops it was always sold out. I think they've got a pretty good pretty good press run kind of in the past 5 years. So they're there now. But
Yeah.
their fans notoriously like to buy vinyl, and I'm one of them. And I could only find this listed in 2 places, and I think it was a cross listing. So one on Discogs, and I think it was cross listed on Amazon.
Hmm.
But the listing on Amazon was way high. It was $250.
Right.
It was kind of like a shot in the sky, like, hey, if someone really wants this, I'll sell it to them, but they're not going to get it unless they pay me something for it. But
Right.
one of my absolute favorites of all time. The differences that they put on the songs, they change up quite a bit from the album, and just incredible. So Counting Crows, August and Everything After, live at the Town Hall. That's my number 4,
Well,
with
nice.
only one
Nice one.
available online, maybe 2, but I think it's the same guy.
Nice. Next one I've got here, we talked about this album on the album covers we don't like video, but now I actually stumbled upon a original cover
That's right.
of the used In Love and Death, and this variant is incredible looking. It's a you can kind of see it there, split
That's a 10
clear
out of
red,
10.
black, white splatter on it. Um, Man, did I get lucky on this. Flipping through the used bin at a store, I think I paid $14 for this within the last
Insane.
6 months. In the last 6 months. And this is a one of 500, I think, and there are none available of that. I don't think you can even get any of the variants right now, but definitely not these much harder to get lower pressing count versions like that one. So
Sure.
that was a complete lucky find. Just kind of digging the used bins one day and stumbled upon that and was very happy to pick it up. So that's my what are we on? My third?
Yeah,
My
number
third
3.
one?
Yep.
Yep. So there
Beautiful.
you go.
Okay, next up, my number 3. I've talked about this one on the channel several times, made a short about it. I just can't get enough of showing this one off. Flogging Molly, live at the Greek.
You have talked about that a couple
I
times.
have. It is just probably my favorite pressing I have because of what it is. So Flogging Molly, right? Irish punk band. And the pressing is just unreal. It's a Guinness,
Yeah.
like Guinness
Really
beer
cool.
float variant. And the story behind it's awesome. So I'll run through the story real quick. So they pressed this. I think it might be Side One Dummies, maybe pressed this for an official release, and then for whatever reason forgot about it. Came up short. They had a stack of these in their warehouse in the back, and they were moving locations and found them and said, "Oh, these are great. We have a charity coming up to feed, for hunger to feed and charity event. We have 50 of these. Let's just auction them off." So there's only 50 of these that got auctioned off. A lot of people don't even know they exist. I didn't know they existed until I was looking for this for vinyl and saw it on Discogs. And I was like, what is that? Instantly had to buy it. I spent way too much on it, over 200 bucks, I think. And now there's one left on Discogs for 350 bucks. And I think once that one goes, you're going to be extremely hard pressed to get one. I spent over a year getting this one.
Wow.
And because there was only one available on Discogs, and I reached out to him and I said, hey, we couldn't agree on price. And I said, okay, come back to me when, or I didn't say that. We couldn't agree on price. And I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to let it sit because I don't think he can sell this thing because no one knows it exists.
Right.
And sure enough, it was still there a year later, and he ended up coming down even more than what I offered before, because it took him so long to sell it. But again, you're never going to find this. Once
Right.
that one sells on Discogs, that's it for years.
Yeah.
So Flogging Molly, Live at the Greek, Guinness Float version variant. I mean, it just doesn't get better than that for me anyway. I love that sort of thing. So that's my number 3. Mitch, what do you got for your number 2 there?
Number two, I've got another kind of punk ska one here. Real Big Fish.
Big with the
Turn the radio
ska
off.
today.
Yeah, yeah. Turn the radio off. This one, there are a few. This is hard to get, no matter what version you get. There are a few versions available. This specific one is really hard to get. It is a kind of multicolor splatter
Nice. That looks
there,
good.
to kind of match the cover. I think this was an Enjoy the Ride Records pressing maybe a couple years back when they finally got that repressed. But very important album, ska history.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's
huge.
excited to have that one. Happy to have that one in my collection. Again, it does get repressed from time to time. I don't think you're going to find that variant again that they're going to do. I know they've done a few others. I think they did like a black and white one to kind of be the ska, kind of Czech type look. But yeah, it's a cool one. It's a rare one to come by, and I am definitely very happy to have Real Big Fish Turn the Radio Off
Yeah, very
in
solid.
the
And
collection.
I love the work that I like the pressings they do at Enjoy the Ride. I think they do a great
Yeah,
job over there. I'm always like when you pull that out, they just look great. Big
the
fan of
quality is nice.
yeah, big fan
I've
of
yet
what
to
they
have a
do.
quality issue with theirs. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, we'll jump into my number 2. I went back and forth on putting a show variant in the mix because
Ah, okay.
it feels a little bit like cheating because if you're not at that show, you're not going to be able to have access to it. But I couldn't help
Yeah,
myself. I couldn't help myself. It's No Effects, The Decline.
yeah.
Okay. Now, it's a tour variant. So on the back, it says, I saw No Effects on their final tour in Boston and paid way too much for this record.
Fact.
I had to because of that.
69 of 99.
69 out of 100. How do I not? You know what I mean? It's the adolescent child in me that can't help myself. But a show variant that I think is very cool. There's a few other show variants. You and I have been to a few shows,
Yeah.
especially the Pussifer ones, where
Hmm.
you can get, pretty limited runs on things. Like some of them, I think maybe Pussifer did one that was only 50. Maybe that one in
Right.
Manchester we saw.
Yeah.
But yeah, this
Like
one's
per show
number
50.
69 of 99, and it's got the actual writing on the back that says, it's not just this stamped with a number. It actually
Yeah.
says in Boston. So I counted it. So if someone from Boston wanted this, there's only one for sale online. Only one, and it's
Yeah.
mine.
Yours is for sale?
Only, yeah, I'm the only one. I have it on sale.
Wow.
This is egregious of me, but the reason is I'm pulling the same thing that the Counting Crows guy did. Is I'll sell it. However, you're going to pay for it. And the only reason I would sell it is I have 2 other show
Copies.
variants that I got at that show. So I have
Ah,
3, and this one I think means probably the least to me of those 3. And I have 2 others.
interesting.
So if someone on Discogs wanted this one, I think I have it on sale for like 250, something outrageous. So
It's interesting.
really, it's priced to never move because I kind of like
Yeah.
it. And I don't really want to
Yeah.
sell it, but I threw it on there just in case. So theoretically, you can't get it in theory.
I'm gonna have to add that to my watch list to see if the seller drops the price.
Well, some of the other
Because
sellers on there from the
I
other shows have sold some near that price point, which was my
okay.
gauge, my barometer for it.
I definitely, that is an album I definitely do not need another copy of. I think I have four pressings of that album
Awesome.
specifically,
Yeah, you
as
definitely.
well as I think two or maybe three copies of the CD. So
Yeah,
I think I have enough
you're
variants
golden.
of that one.
You can borrow
But
mine sometime if you want.
yeah, yeah, just for the 69 or 99.
Yeah. All right, Mike, hit us with your number one. Bring us home here.
My my number one, this one's this is a pretty rare album. So you guys have seen me, heard me talk about this artist quite a bit, and that's Poppy.
Yes.
And
Is that a
this is
signed?
a this is autographed.
Wow.
This is a old one. So this was before she kind of was famous, or somewhat famous. This is when she was still kind of an internet robot character, AI character. I mean, she still does that character, but that was kind of what the character was at the time. This is Poppy Dot Computer. It was much more like bubblegum pop kind of sound at that time frame.
Yep.
Autograph buyer. This is also from the I think this was on Mad Decent, which is the album, the label that she had some problems with, and why her really popular album, "My Girl," which I've talked about before, has not had a repress. So odds of this getting repressed, not popular album of hers,
Hmm.
with the challenges she had with the label, I don't see this ever getting a repress.
Yeah.
There are none available. There are two different versions. There's one without the foil cover, I think, and one with. This is the more sought after with the foil cover,
The foil's
and then
nice on
it's
that. I don't normally
and
like
then
the
it's
foil.
autographed as well. And the
Yeah.
variant is a kind of bubblegum
Oh,
pink
that's nice.
to go along with it. So it even has like a certificate of authenticity that came with it when it was purchased to
That's really
show
cool.
that it was really autographed by her. But
Yeah.
um, that was a really random find I got years ago before she really kind of blew up, prior to doing stuff with Knocked Loose and some of the other bands and stuff that she's worked with since that time period. So glad to have it in my collection. I honestly, digging through my collection, found out that my Poppy collection is surprisingly rare and expensive, which I was not aware of because I've been kind of collecting it through the years here. So
Sure.
um, that's a cool one. If you are lucky enough to find the album at all, it's hard to find. Add in the autograph on it.
Good
Good
luck
luck.
with
Good
the
luck on
cert
that one.
because you got to realize that that variant came with that cert.
Right.
So meaning if you bought it on eBay and you don't have the cert and you just have someone just gets that album signed, it's not the same thing.
Correct.
Big
Yeah.
difference. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think one note to add to to that variant is that when bands have an issue with a label, they tend to hold a grudge.
Yeah.
And usually they've been screwed over money, and it's like, you know what? I don't want to get it pressed anymore because I don't need them making. They sign a bad deal. They're young. That usually
Right.
doesn't change. So excellent. My number one, cool story behind this one. It's a niche band. So this is where the Riff Circle can be kind of fun and community like. I promise you, if you're listening to this, you haven't heard of this band. Although their number of degrees of separation is not that far away from a major band. This is only 2 degrees of separation. Only 2 degrees away from Tool, the band Tool, and only
Okay.
1 degree of separation from Pussifer. So the band, let me grab. So there's two of these here. Again, another grouping. The band is Early Winters. Okay.
Hmm.
Now they have a few albums, but these two here, this is their debut, and you can the degrees of separation. Let me back up. The singer for this band is Karina Round. Okay, she's also a co-singer of Pussifer, who's headed by Maynard Keener of Tool, who is also in Pussifer. So the degrees of separation are not crazy from a big artist, but this band here, her first band, is pretty under the radar. Very good band, extremely good band. Early Winters. You got to check these.
So this is her first band before she was solo
I
as
think she
well.
did this while she was solo. There's some
Okay.
overlap there. But the album I Want to Break Your Heart, very good. And that's a drawing of her on the cover. And then this is just Early Winters, the debut, so self-titled. And the way I got these, because I just fell in love with everything Karina Round touches. When through Pussifer, found out who she was, listened to her solo stuff, love that. I have everything she has solo, and then found out she had this band, and okay, I have to have that as well. The collector in me.
Right.
How do you get these? I couldn't find them anywhere. I had to get them through the band's website. Now you might think, well, Miles, that doesn't seem very difficult. It is very difficult because no one's monitoring the website. So then I had to, my transaction wouldn't go through. So I contacted who I am assuming is a member of the band. And they were, I think it might have been the guitarist or something, was like, oh, sorry, it didn't go through. I'll here, PayPal me and I'll ship you two of them. And,
Get
ship
yourself in
these
these
over
weird
to me.
situations.
And they came in like a personal mailer, like not anything from a distribution factory, nothing like that. Like just someone slapped on, like hand wrote a label and sent it through. So these are the hardest to get in my collection. There, if you were to find one, it's not going to be expensive. They'd be about $30 each, maybe less. You can get them on CD here and there, maybe. But the actual vinyl, because they're so small of a band, they did maybe 50 of these, I would imagine, as a small, just kind of a test run to see how they sell. And then, Karina goes on to bigger and better things, and these guys are done. So, but that said, phenomenal albums, very good albums. Instrumentation's great. Karina Round, excellent. So they're very good. So your homework, Riff Circle, check this band out.
Early Winters.
And I know
I
most
like
of you
it.
haven't heard of Amorphous, and they made a couple of appearances. So check them out as well. All right, Mike, that's our 5 most rare. Again, listen, we're regular guys, right? We have daytime jobs and stuff. We're not going to show you misprint Beatles first pressing things. It costs $1 million. But if you go and look for these, you will be hard pressed to find them. We assure you.
Yeah,
And putting this list together was tricky because Mitch, you got
it
over
was.
2,000 in your collection. And some of these you buy them years and years ago, and you don't realize that they just run out and they don't get pressed for whatever
Yeah.
reason, and then they become very hard to get. And again, this was our third part in a 3-part series. So we have most valuable for median price on Discogs with
Yep.
box sets, and then with no box sets, just
No
single
box
albums,
sets.
and then this one here today. So that's probably going to wrap up our series for this. We have more collection corner stuff coming down the road. If you want to be a part of the community and you like this sort of thing and you want to learn about new music, consider subscribing. We're a brand new channel. We're just starting out. And if you learned something today, drop a like. Costs you nothing. Helps us out. Mike, till next time, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Be well, friends.